I got 5:30.
Yes, sir.
Quorum?
We have quorum, Chairman.
Okay. Let's go ahead and call out each board member just to make sure for attendance, please.
Yeah, let me call him out. Okay. Director Frank Pardo, he is absent. He's under the weather today. Director Juan Carlos del Ángel.
Present.
Yeah. Chairman De Anda.
Here.
Ezequiel Reina is absent. Director Sines.
Here.
And Director Williamson.
Here.
Yeah. And then Director Kamel is out of town. So you do have quorum, Chairman. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, we come before you today to give you honor and praise. You are the source of all that is good and the source of all of our blessings. Thank you for helping us to accomplish our work and our goals this day. Amen.
Any public comment?
Chairman, we have no public comment. Oh, so. Director.
Let's go ahead and go to reports.
Chairman, the first item on your agenda is reports 1A and 1B. Ramon Navarro will give a brief report.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Directors. Ramon Navarro, Chief Construction Engineer for the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority, and I'm here to give you a brief summary of the overall development operations of what we got going on with development. And for timekeeping, I'm going to give you all the condensed version and give us some time to work on this. As far as next slide, you can go to the section C slide. There you go. All right. So we currently have bids, or we're currently requesting proposals for the Granjeno Wetland Modification Project. We'll be before the board on the 13th. When we receive those, we'll be before the board next month and provide you all the received proposals and move forward with that as processing is required. We also, on the Loop C, we had a very productive meeting this afternoon with McAllen EDC and the Strategic Committee, talking about the future of the west segments of our loop. And we talked about generators, traffic, future routes. Our partners of TxDOT were also present, and hope to see all this come to fruition in the next couple of years, and be around to have that generalized. That is a summary of our development operations, and I will willingly answer and entertain questions here after the meeting if anyone has anything one-on-one for time's sake, once again. As far as the development or the construction report, it's going to be the next B. If we can go to the summary sheet. Okay, it's working now. All right, as far as the construction process, we continue to produce out in the field for the 365 toll project. We are currently approximately 42% complete, and that is inclusive of MOH. Excluding MOH, we're at 34% production. And we are at 50, as of today, we are at 56% with time used. That's a big deficit of approximately 16% that it's increased to. We did meet with the president of PCI and the superintendent on Friday, and we are planning to have a lean meeting or a scheduling restructuring of the schedule meeting sometime mid-month this month or of March. and come before the board with any rescheduling or how we strategized on getting this project back onto schedule.
What do you mean by restructuring? What the heck does that mean?
As far as their strategies, their means and methods, how they're planning on going forth with constructing the project within the limited time that they have left.
You're still not answering the question. What does that mean?
We're making sure that they realize the short gap of time, and we're going to try and
Well, we already
be
realized
as efficient as possible.
We already realized, and they realized exactly what are you going to do to make sure they catch up.
That's what we're going to meet about and see what we can do as far as the efficiencies of
So
construction.
what's your strategy on it?
I'm thinking we could multiply the crews or increase the production in the field as far as the structures.
So do you
Doing
have a
more than
specific-
one
do you have
bridge
a
at one
specific
time,
plan
sir?
How you going to do that?
Sir?
Do you have a specific plan on how you're going to do that?
I do, but means and methods are beyond my control. That's within the contractor's perspective.
They're way behind, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's a reflection on the board. You know that.
Yes, sir. Reflection upon myself, sir. Yes, sir.
Where should they be right now? 36 and 40. What should the numbers be?
They should be on time. They should be on schedule at the 56%. They should be at about the 50% mark right now.
What is their excuse? I mean, obviously they're giving a ton of them, right? So
Their primary excuse is utilities. We do have ETT, which we signed off on yesterday. Those commitment dates that ETT has provided us are about 8 to 6 months off schedule from what the contractor had requested. However, talking to the boots on the ground with ETT, that can be amended, or that gap can be shortened in construction in the field if everything goes well and we don't encounter archaeological site or something, some unknown that we could trip up on and get the schedule really further behind.
What's the date due to weather? I mean, how many days have they used weather days?
Weather days are not accounted for, sir. This is a calendar day project, and we do not account for weather days on this project
So
or holidays. Well, there's 4 holidays that we honor: Christmas, New Year's, veterans. There's 4 holidays that we honor. Other than that, every day counts as a production day.
Well, I would recommend that you come forward next meeting and be real specific on how you're going to approach and have a specific strategy, a plan on how to make them move forward with something that's actually can be executed appropriately.
Yes,
Because
sir.
right now you're just giving us general terms.
Yes, sir. Any other questions or concerns I can entertain at this time?
Anything else?
Thank you.
Chairman, Directors, the next item on your agenda is a consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the governing body and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussions of these items. However, if discussion is desired, that item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Okay, can we go to regular agenda items, resolution 2024-09, consideration and approval of work authorization 15
So,
and 16?
do we have to make a motion? on the
yeah,
consent?
we need a motion second on the consent.
So,
Yeah.
can I get a motion on consent?
Second.
Motion?
Did you move, Carlos?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
3A, Chairman, Directors.
Oh, we have all those in favor.
Is that all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Okay. Item
Can we
3A
go to
is,
Resolution 2024-09 on authorization 15 and 16 to professional service agreement with CNM Associates for updated bring down letter and general engineering consulting support.
if the board recalls, at the last meeting, we had a presentation from our tow consultant with HDR, and we looked at the option to increase revenue using volumetric tolling versus conventional tolling. And then the option that we'll be recommending is the conventional tolling. Volumetric, we discussed the pros and cons, and there was primarily cons because it was new technology. So part of this work authorization with CNM Associates, who is our TNR consultant, is to update the financial model, the bring down letter, to show that we're going with the single gantry option and how that impacts revenue, which we show that it's still a positive. It's a difference between a 3% revenue versus 4% for volumetric, if you remember from the presentation. The remainder of the work authorization is for them to provide support services to our general engineering consultant, HDR, as part of as we go through the project and we fine tune the tolling and we start running actual testing on it, to fine tune the revenues that are going to be generated. So this work authorization is being proposed in the amount of $102,705. About 12,000 of it will be for the bring down letter, and then the remaining balance, 90,000, will be expended over the next 2 years as they provide support services over the life of the project. So staff is recommending approval in the amount of $102,705 for a revised work authorization amount of, this is the contract amount would be $1,029,163.20. So staff recommends approval.
Is this within our budget?
Yes,
Budget
sir.
amount?
Yes, sir.
But the 102,000 is above the budget.
No, that will be expended over the next 2 years. So the 12,000 will be expended immediately to revise the bring down letter. The remaining 90,000 will be spread over approximately 22 months. So, and we may not use it all, Director. We'll use it as needed. And so we may not expend the whole $90,000.
Is there any motion?
So moved.
That motion, can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Resolution 2024-10, consideration and approval of the contract amendment number 17 to the professional service agreement with CNM Associates, Inc. to increase the maximum amount payable for work authorization 15 and work authorization 16.
So this is just to increase the maximum payable amount for the 2 work authorizations you just approved. Staff recommends approval. That takes the maximum payable amount to $1,029,163.20. Staff
Make
recommends
a motion
approval.
to approve resolution 2024-10
Second.
as presented.
Motion and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Resolution 2024-11, consideration and approval of agreement with Kinder Morgan, Inc. for participation in the relocation of utility gas line for a 365 tollway project.
So this is a gas line that we got to cross with the project. And so we're there where we're crossing the gas line with the project. So it requires the owner of the gas line, Kinder Morgan, to provide inspection services while we're traversing across their right of way and gas line. And it's in the amount of $40,000 for them to be on site and make sure that we basically don't violate any of their design parameters crossing that gas line. Staff recommends approval.
Are there any questions? If not, entertain a motion for approval of resolution 2024-11.
So move.
Have a motion, could I get a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Resolution 2024-12, consideration and approval of supplemental number 1 to work authorization number 21 to the professional service agreement with Sames Inc. for surveying services for additional X parcels claimed by Hidalgo County Irrigation District number 2 as part of the 365 tollway project.
So as we've gone through the X parcel discovery, the irrigation district has laid additional claim on additional parcels that we've acquired, interest in parcels that we've already acquired for the project for right of way. So they've claimed a few more parcels. So this is to survey them and identify them by meets and bounds and legal descriptions. And so this work authorization is in the amount of $19,845. Staff recommends approval.
Richie, when we purchased this property, was there any exclusions on the title policies?
There weren't specific exclusions of claims and fee, but the way that those agreements read is rights, claims, and interests in favor of Hidalgo County Irrigation District number 2. So what we did
is when these claims originated, the ex parcels, we made a demand to their underwriter to back us up on the claim against the title, and they denied our claim based on that one clause. Because the word interest could be analogous with fee. I don't agree, because fee, and interest is a generality.
Can we make a demand on the underwriter? Sue him? We did?
We did. We took a large sample and made a demand on those, and the underwriter denied our claim.
So we can still take him to court, right? Can file a petition?
We could argue that this was unfair, or they
Deceptive.
correct, so we can go after them in a court of common jurisdiction.
I think we should. My recommendation to the board is that we pursue him in the court of law.
Do we do that now or do we do it in executive
In
session?
executive session, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got an item that we can discuss that.
So what do we do on this? Do we still need to get them surveyed? Do we still?
Yeah, we still need to
Still,
survey
okay.
them because basically they're not gonna allow us to build improvements over
How
them.
many parcels are there?
Just an additional 4 or 5 parcels, Ramon? I believe it's 4
Do
parcels.
you have an idea how many acres?
I want to say it's about 2 acres, 2 additional. It's small, but that's how they're getting us there. We're up to, I don't know, almost 30 parcels, ex parcels. We started at about 16, and how many we're up to, Richie? Okay.
Chingando chiquito.
These
Yeah.
five might take us to 28, but I think we're at 23. We've eliminated some as we go.
Yeah.
Just about 2 to 5 acres, more or less. But that's why we need to get the surveys.
It meets and
Based
bounds?
on what they-
Yeah, meets and bounds. Because what they do is they just lay a blanket claim, and so we have to go in there and carve it out.
Almost $20,000 for 2 acres of land on a
Yes, sir.
survey?
Yes, sir.
It's a little high.
But we've got to get it done. So we're using this surveyor because they already have the parent tract surveyed, and they don't have to go back and find a lot of the information to tie this claim back to, because they've already done a lot of the surveying, so. And they're scattered all over the place, Director. They're not,
There's a lot
if
of-
they were in one location, there'd be some economies of scale there, but it's little parcel here, a little part, I mean, they're just everywhere, so. So there's a little bit of surveying that goes into,
Do you think this will solve the situation, or do you think they'll have more in the future?
there's always a possibility they can come out with more, so. Yeah, because
Motion
they've
for
done that all
approval
along the
of
way.
the engineering.
So move.
Have a motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All same sign, motion carries. Resolution 2024-13, consideration and approval of amendment number 23 with same to increase the maximum amount payable under supplemental order number 1 to work authorization 21.
So this is just to increase the maximum payable amount for the work authorization.
So make a motion. for
Motion
resolution
second.
2024-13.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All same sign, motion carries. Resolution 2024-14, consideration and approval of designation of the Rio Grande Valley Metropolitan Planning Organization members for the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority.
So this is just to appoint the board members that would like to serve on the RGV MPO. The current members were the chairman and the vice chairman, who was Forrest Reynolds. So obviously, Vice Chairman Reynolds resigned from the board, and so we need a couple of board appointees, and then typically Ramon and I serve as the proxies for those 2 board appointees. So that's whatever the pleasure of the board is.
The meetings are at
Westaco, Ken Jones.
Make a motion. Zeke,
So the motion would be for the chairman and then also for Mr. Reyna?
Yeah, whoever the board wants to appoint to serve on that board. So that board, just to give you a brief, that board decides where all the transportation dollars go that are allocated to our MPO.
so I have a motion for myself.
Is this an annual or a?
It's monthly.
When is the term though? How long is the term?
Until the board decides to change it. So it's,
So motion for
Yeah.
Zeke and myself to serve on the MPO.
Are we eligible to vote? Can the chair and the vice chair vote on this motion? Since we're the designated or appointees?
I believe the other 3 persons should vote on the motion.
Okay, so I made the motion.
A motion,
Second.
A second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I'm gonna abstain.
Ziegler abstains.
Motion carries. So now at this time, an annual election of the vice chair and the secretary treasurer.
Yeah, so again, right now, it's under the bylaws, you're required to have an election once a year for vice chair and secretary and treasurer. The board has typically combined the secretary and treasurer into one position, and that's also allowed in the bylaws. And so it's the pleasure of the board who they'd like to serve as vice chair and secretary treasurer. So you were serving unexpired, kind of unexpired terms? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm with Carlos. I thought we just had that election.
Yeah,
That's
so
the shortest election that
so Director Reina and Director Del Angel were filling unexpired terms, so.
So open up nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Ziegler.
Motion for Zeke,
Second.
second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So
Yeah.
Zeke will be vice chair and then open for secretary.
Motion for Carlos.
Motion for Carlos. Can I get a second?
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now, under this, I'd like to go into executive session on Chapter 55, Texas Government Code, Section 55.071, with our attorney in deliberation for property and section personal matters.
Item 6A, 6C, and 6E. 6A, 6C, and 6E is what we'd like to go into executive session.
Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Motion and second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Can I get a motion to bring us back from executive session?
So moved.
Motion, can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Chairman, we have no further business for the board's consideration.
No further business. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.